and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we learn how the Count Basie Center for the Arts in Red Bank educates and entertains through their artistic showings at the center. We also meet the president of ALS United, who is working to enhance the quality of life in their patients battling Lou Gehrig's disease. But first, the New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs is the largest and oldest women's volunteer organizations in New Jersey. Here to tell us more about their initiatives is Katie Chambers, board member of NJSFWC. Katie, welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Congratulations on being over 100 years old. I mean, what a legacy you have here.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really excited to celebrate our 140th anniversary. We were founded in 1894. It's thrilling to see how much the organization has grown over the years to this amazing group of more than 6,000 members throughout the state that are all working towards various volunteer goals in their communities.
Tell us about the mission of the organization.
We bring women together in volunteer action. Women's clubs have a long and storied history in the United States. Starting in the 1860s, it was one of the very first ways for women to gather together, to have their voices heard, to engage in collective action. And New Jersey is one of many organizations that are part of the General Federation of Women's Clubs, which is a national and international organization that take volunteer action within their communities. Each club is autonomous within our association, so they take on various projects based on what their community needs. And then as a federation in the state, we come together on a few projects, including this special state project you referred to for the New Jersey Children's Alliance to make life better for women and families in New Jersey.
How are you going to do that?
Right now, we are actually working on a backpack collection project. The New Jersey Children's Alliance supports children that are in abusive environments, and we are collecting backpacks and school supplies for children in need who are in the middle of court cases, who are suffering from these difficult circumstances, and we're doing that collection throughout the summer to get kids ready for school in the fall.
After school starts, does the work stop, or how are you continuing the cause?
No, we're going to continue to raise funds, raise supplies to increase awareness about child abuse throughout the state for the next 2 years. Every 2 years, New Jersey State Federation of Women's Clubs chooses a different special state project. This year, it's New Jersey Children's Alliance. In the past, we have worked with organizations that support guide dogs, organizations that support veterans. So every 2 years, we choose a different project, and we work with that specific nonprofit to take care of exactly what they need.
Besides the Children's Initiative, what are you doing throughout the year to better the community?
We have several initiatives going on at any given time. One of my personal favorites is the Girls Career Institute, which we established in 1947 to give junior girls in high school a college experience throughout the summer to get them ready for that next step in their educational and professional lives. It's a residential program at Douglas College, which, by the way, we founded at Rutgers many years ago. And it brings these girls on campus for a few days. They get the full college experience. They get to stay in the dorms. They get to take classes and workshops with women in what we kind of consider non-traditional, female career paths, like FBI agents, people who work in law enforcement, people working in medicine, in STEM, in the entertainment industry. They get to hear all about those career paths. They get a sense of what it's going to be like when they're living on campus, meet girls from all throughout the state, and get that little bit of inspiration before they go back to senior year and start their college application process. We serve hundreds of girls doing this each year, and we've been doing it since 1947. So again, there are many generations now of women that have passed through this program. It's really amazing to see after just a few days, they've formed these amazing bonds with each other, with the NJSFWC volunteers that help run the program, the house mothers. There are lots of tears and hugs at the end where they've really, they really find themselves over those few days.
You aren't helping those getting ready for college, but also their post-college life. How are you doing that?
Yes, we have something called the Margaret Yardley Fellowship Fund for postgraduate studies for female students in New Jersey. So if you're looking to attend grad school and you're a New Jersey resident, please go to our website, njsfwc.org. You can find all the information there. I also wanted to mention, too, we do a fabulous program to support our troops. Every year at the holidays, we collect thousands, and I do mean thousands of holiday stockings that we stuff with lots of goodies and supplies that we send overseas with various partner organizations to support our troops overseas.
I love that. How many clubs are in the Garden State?
Right now, there are about 150. We're growing all the time, but it's about 150 throughout all counties in New Jersey, representing about 6,000 members.
Wow. And I bet a lot of them are doing hyper local grassroots missions as well, maybe helping out a local food pantry or a local charity organization.
Exactly. As a federation, we provide guidelines and suggestions of different projects that you can take on, whether it's for the environment or for health and wellness or in the performing arts. But yes, the clubs, take our advice and take our suggestions, and then they go to their communities and see where those needs are. So you will see women's clubs supporting food banks, having farmers markets, doing programs in schools, having spelling bees. It really is a testament to the creativity and the entrepreneurship of women that they look to see what those needs are in their communities, and they answer them.
How did you get involved in the organization?
I actually got involved through my mom. Like I said, it's an amazing legacy of generations of women, and there are multiple generations of women in the organization right now, which is super exciting. She has always been a phenomenal volunteer and an inspiration to me with her dedication to community service. And I wanted to find a way to give back to my community and to meet other amazing women leaders throughout the state. And she inspired me to join, and here I am.
I love that legacy of mother and daughter doing things like that together. It's so cool, and it sounds like there's a lot of those types of stories. Maybe even 3 generations, 4 generations.
There are actually in my local club that I'm a part of, Book and Needle Women's Club of Ordell. One of our members is a multi-generation member. Her grandmother was one of our founders, so it's very cool to see.
So, if someone watching wants to begin a chapter of their own in their own town, is that opportunity available, and how can they do so?
Absolutely. Contact us. Go to our website, njsfwc.org. We have a headquarters building in New Brunswick and a team ready to answer the phone and talk to you about how you can start your own club. And also check to see on the list of clubs, there might be one already near you that you could join.
Great. Well, this was so much fun. Thank you so much, and congratulations on so much success.
Thank you so much.
The Count Basie Center for the Arts and Phoenix Productions are 2 of Monmouth County's most cherished arts institutions. These organizations are not only fostering creativity and talent, but are also deeply embedded in the community. Here to tell us more is Sam Guistiniani, Vice President of Education and Outreach at the Count Basie Center, and James Grausam, Managing Artistic Director and Show Director of Phoenix Productions. James, Sam, welcome to the show.
Hi there.
Thank you for having us.
Well, thank you for coming on here today. The Count Basie Theater and everything you have going on there is just the crown jewel of New Jersey arts and entertainment. So it's an honor to be here with you. Please describe the relationship between the Count Basie Center for the Arts and Phoenix Productions.
Sure. So Count Basie Center for the Arts, as you mentioned, is a nonprofit organization centered around bringing offerings that diversify, amplify, and embrace all of New Jersey's residents. And a wonderful way we do that is through Phoenix Productions and the community theater that happen on our stages.
James, that's your cue. Talk to us about Phoenix Productions and your involvement.
So Phoenix Productions is a 35-year-old community theater organization. We've been performing on the Count Basie stage since 1990, I think was our first season there. And we're just your typical community theater where we engage the community, bring them in and we create 5 main stage musicals every year. We have over 300 performers on our stage each year. We hire over 100 musicians, providing work for working artists. And it's a really great way for people to participate live on stage at the Count Basie Center.
Samantha, the Basie Center is known for its work in the community, both in Monmouth County and throughout the entire state and region. How would you describe the impact the Basie has?
So the Basie connects with the community in so many different ways through, as James mentioned, Phoenix Productions, through workforce development for our front of house staff, for our shows, both in the Vogel and the Hackensack Meridian Health Theater, but also in my world, which is education. So we have students at the Count Basie Center's Turner Academy of the Arts from ages 4 into their 80s. Any arts lover out there, there's a space for them here to learn music, performing arts, dance, express themselves, try something new, and beyond. Opportunities on our stages to perform in productions, not only with Phoenix, but through education programs. In addition, we run a few statewide programs in collaborations with partners throughout the state, working with high schools, community organizations, from poetry to filmmaking, and to celebrating the great work that's already happening throughout our state and our region.
James, talk about Phoenix Productions and how community theater and the work you do is helping to fulfill the Basie Center's mission.
So three of the main pillars of the Basie mission are to inspire, educate, and entertain. And when you kind of knit the community together to create musicals, 5 times a year, it really helps to inspire people on a lot of different levels. We often think about these musicals being created as just the actors, the singing and the dancing, but we have community members who are building the sets and painting the sets and sewing the costumes and working on the makeup and again, as we said, providing jobs for working musicians. And that's inspirational to people on both sides of the footlights, for the people who are participating and being on stage, but also to the audiences who we have season subscribers who have been with us for 35 years and continue to come back and see more. And I think that's the beautiful thing about it, is it doesn't matter what your skill set is or your skill level. There's probably some way you can participate to help create art for your community.
So Samantha, we know that arts education is so valuable, but it's often the first thing that gets cut when schools have budget issues. Talk about the role the Basie plays in supporting arts education and why it's so important for the overall education of our children.
So we work very closely with school districts and community organizations to provide programs for them that help support the great work that's already going on inside their school building. That can happen during the day, after school, on the weekends, or beyond. We also, through our Forever for Everyone endowment campaign, make sure that any of those students that want to continue to learn have a place here. So we provide support scholarships so that there are no barriers to participation. But really supporting the work that schools are doing through programs, professional development for teachers, access to performances on stage, really help move the needle and make sure that everybody knows that the arts are for them.
How did you get involved in the arts, Samantha?
I was always kind of an artistic kid. I liked to draw when I was young. But I was also a very athletic, motivated kid, but it was actually because I had broken a finger and I couldn't play a sport that season that I auditioned for a play. And I kind of found my family doing theater at school, and one friend dragged me to a community theater, and it really did change my life. It was just where I found a home.
And you're doing such great work to this day. James, how about you? How did you get involved?
Well, I was a band geek for my whole life, and I was really, really fortunate to have great educators where I grew up, and they recognized something in me and said, "Listen, you're not just a band kid. You're way too much. So we need to put you on stage and have you, as I like to say, get your art on." And so I started as a chorus boy, in the school show, and then parlayed that into a college degree, and then I became a professional chorus boy, and I've toured the world and been on lots of stages around the world. And then when it came time to retire, which we all retire from the show game, don't we? I found community theater and was able to keep a toe in, keep involved, and it was just, again, as Sam said, you find your family, and that's exactly what the arts do.
And especially for this younger generation, it takes them away from the computer screens and the tablets and the phones, and it's teaching them how to communicate and have presence, and that's so vital and priceless.
Right? I think that's something that a lot of young people struggle with, and we get a lot of phone calls from parents that, they want their child to be more confident speaking in front of people and just developing those skills and interacting and collaborating. And we're happy that this is a place for them and a place for someone who wants to be in West Side Story, right? So we try really hard to make sure that the person that wants to get better at public speaking has a home, and the person that's kind of ready to take a trajectory similar to James and tour professionally also has a home here.
I love that. Well, Samantha, where can people find out more information about Count Basie and all of your programs?
Sure. You can visit our website at www.thebasie.org.
Great. And James, where can people find out more about Phoenix Productions?
You can find out at thebasie.org, as well as www.phoenixredbank.com.
Well, it was so great to be joined by you today. Hopefully see you soon at a show. And thank you so much for everything you are doing, especially for Monmouth County youth.
Thank you.
Thank you.
ALS United provides local, on-the-ground services to patients and families living with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. Kristen Cocoman, President and CEO of ALS United, joins us to tell us more about their mission here in the Garden State. Kristen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me.
I can't think of a disease more devastating than ALS, so thank you for all that you're doing in helping these families.
I appreciate it. Thank you for saying that. It's something that I say often, you can never do enough for the ALS community. There is always more to do. There are so many ways in which we can provide support and continue to add on to that list of things. It's really, it is a devastating disease. I'm not sure, the community, it's something that not everybody is that familiar with, how it impacts someone, not only the person who's been given that diagnosis, but the entire extended family. It can be devastating, both, physically, mentally, and financially, but we're there to help. We're there to provide all kinds of support services in every way possible.
How are you helping families here in New Jersey battling ALS?
So in a variety of ways. We work with clinics, multidisciplinary clinics within the state of New Jersey. We support them and their teams of neurologists and therapists and all the different specialties that are involved in the care of someone who is living with ALS. We also will support the community with nurses and social workers that are out in the field that will come to your home or meet with you virtually to assess your needs, to help guide you through all the different things that or hurdles that can be in front of you, things like filing for insurance benefits, just getting through the day-to-day. We have support groups, a lot of virtual support groups and in-person support that we'll provide, but we also provide financial support. We will provide grants for families in order to get respite care, support things like paying for copays or supporting copays, or providing a ramp or accessibility modifications to the home, which can be so costly. So it's a number of different ways that we're providing support for the families.
And how are you getting support to help all of these families?
We get support through a lot of generous donors that will fund many of our programs. We get a lot of funding through state-based grants and support. Unfortunately, this year, going forward, the next several months, the state of New Jersey, they did need to cut back on the budgetary funding that we receive pretty significantly. So we are looking to supplement our funding in the state of New Jersey in other ways, reaching out to all of our grateful donors, applying for new grants. And the hope is that we do get that state funding built back up for next year.
Well, it is so important because it really is all hands on deck in dealing with ALS. How many families here in New Jersey are affected?
So we're servicing about 250 or so families in the state of New Jersey, and that is in the northern half of New Jersey. So we work with our partner affiliate out in the southern part of New Jersey with similar numbers. So collectively, we're trying to reach every single person throughout the state of New Jersey and make sure that everyone knows that we're there to support them and they're getting services from us.
Has there been any advancements? Like you said, a diagnosis is devastating, but has there been anything that to help prolong and have people live a fulfilled life?
There has been, actually, and thank you for asking. This is actually the anniversary of the ALS Ice Bucket Challenge that started 10 years ago. And that time, that particular time frame, that series of events through the challenge raised a tremendous amount of funds, most of which went to research, but also an incredible amount of awareness. And through that, and since that time, there's been a lot of progress in the ALS space. New genes have been identified. 2 new drugs have been brought to market for the ALS community. Prior to the Ice Bucket Challenge, there was 1 drug that was available to the ALS community, and that was in all of the years prior to that. And just the past 10 years, 2 new drugs have been introduced. There's just a lot of hope that we have that more is to come.
Kristen, I was going to bring up the Ice Bucket Challenge. I cannot believe that's 10 years ago, but more importantly, I'm so happy that that viral moment really sparked change within the ALS community.
It did. It was an incredible time. Like I said, the amount of awareness that was generated through that is absolutely priceless.
ALS, I feel, is dominating the discussion again, especially around NFL circles. So the recipient of the ESPN Jimmy V Award, unfortunately, is battling ALS, Steve Gleason. And then there was another NFL player who was just inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame at his bedside because he has ALS, Mongo, Steve McMichael. Talk about the correlation between sports like football, hockey, and a prevalence of ALS.
So in the world of sports, whether it's football or soccer, hockey, baseball, there is research being done on whether or not there is a correlation between sports, injuries, concussions, if that can be something that maybe it puts you on a particular trajectory, or it starts a process that, you start to develop something that would lead to ALS. There's a lot of research. A lot of research is being done in that space. There are a lot of different areas in which researchers are looking to see, is there a larger population that is more likely to develop ALS? Why is it that certain people, whether it's certain people in certain industry or certain sports, it's seemingly developing ALS at a higher rate? There is a lot of research that is being looked into for that.
How about genetically? Is this something that could be carried down?
Yes, there is a small percentage of ALS patients do have the genetic form. It is around 10%, although more recently we're seeing those numbers climb just a little bit.
It's such a fascinating, mysterious disease. How did you get involved in the fight?
So about a little over 20 years ago, I was brought into the space through a friend and colleague of mine, doing some fundraising and working with the ALS community. And over the years, my role here has continued to grow. And while when I was first introduced to the ALS community all those years ago, I didn't have a personal connection. But in 20 plus years, you can imagine, I have so many personal connections, and it is very personal to me. And it's something that you want to continue the fight. You want to do more. Like I said, we want to do more. There's always more to do, and every year it's my commitment to the ALS community continues to grow.
Well, it's a very worthy cause to get behind. And Kristen, we thank you so much for coming on here and spreading your mission. Where can people find out more about your organization?
They can visit us at als-ny.org, and on that website, you'll find all the information on how to get in touch with us, on the different services that we provide if you're someone that is impacted by ALS.
Great. Kristen, thank you so much. And we look forward to following along and supporting in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining me on another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.